Hello everyone, and welcome to this Moodle Academy webinar, Get Involved in the Moodle.org Community Forums. I'm Mary Cooch, Education Manager here at Moodle HQ, and I have with me Helen Foster, Community Engagement Advisor, also at Moodle HQ. And together we are going to give you an overview of the Moodle.org community forums, looking at why you should get involved in the forums, what's in it for you, how to get started on Moodle.org, so the very, very basics, and then how to make the most of the forums. And then at the end, we're going to give you just a little behind the scene look at how we look after and maintain the forums to keep a nice atmosphere. So let's get started, and I'm going to pass over to Helen, who's going to talk about why get involved and how to get started.
Thanks, Mary. Okay, good question. Why get involved in the forums? Well, first off, Moodle.org is hosted and run by Moodle HQ, and it's the only official place where you can receive free Moodle support from community members and also Moodle HQ staff. Another reason is that we have a very large community of over 4 million users and discussions going back to 2006. These discussions take place globally in all time zones, enabling round-the-clock support. Talking of support, we have support in many languages. We have communities in lots of other languages if you prefer communicating in a language other than English. Another reason for getting involved is if you're thinking of a new job, you can enhance your career prospects. Your profile on Moodle.org is public, and regular participation in the forums shows potential employers, including Moodle HQ, that you're committed to working with Moodle. In addition, asking and answering questions is valuable continuous professional development. Then one last reason for getting involved in the forums is that forum participation is an important aspect of our Moodle Educator qualification and the Moodle Administrator qualification, which are globally recognised qualifications for expert Moodle educators and administrators. So now you've lots of reasons to get involved. Let's look at how you get started. It's very easy. You go to Moodle.org and then follow the forums link at the top there. The next page has got a welcome message and then a list of courses, which we also call communities, each of which has forums for you to participate in. For those of you who are multilingual, you can join as many communities as you wish. Then the main area for Moodle support and discussions is Moodle in English. You can browse the discussions without creating an account using guest access, though you need to create an account and log in if you want to participate in discussions. So you can create an account either by completing a form, or you can have your account created automatically by logging in using either your Google or Microsoft account. You'll then need to enroll in the course. If, like multilingual Mary, you've joined several communities, you can find links to each of these communities via your My Courses page.
Okay, thank you, Helen. So we've shown you some reasons why you should get involved. We've explained how you can get started. So now I'm going to explain how you can make the most of the forums once you're in there. Okay, so there are many discussions in all the forums, in all of the courses, and although you can access them and read them, you might not want to be going to the forums every single hour, unless you're me, of course. So how can you follow discussions? What Moodle calls subscribe. So if you go into a particular forum that you're interested in, So in Moodle in English, for example, there are forums with different topics, such as installing and upgrading, or on particular activities. Or here, there's a forum dedicated to discussing teaching with Moodle. If you're interested in the forum as a whole, you can press the subscribe to forum button, and you'll be subscribed to every discussion that happens in that forum. Now, that might be fine. Perhaps you don't want so many notifications in your email or whatever. So another thing you can do is to look at the list of discussions, and then you can subscribe just to one individual discussion. So if you are interested in one and not another. And there's two ways to do it. From the subscribe column, you can click just to toggle so that you're following the discussion, you're subscribed. You'll also see over on the right, we have 3 dots. And if you click the 3 dots, then there you also have the option to subscribe to that particular discussion. And then you'll only get notified of replies in that discussion and not all of the discussions in the forum. By the way, you might see here where it says star this discussion. Starring is like favoriting. So you will have a star next to that discussion in the list of forum posts, so you can easily see which ones you're interested in or you like. It will be at the top of your personal list, but if the forum moderator has pinned a discussion to the top, that will come above it. Okay, so that's how you can follow certain discussions, but now how can you get them? Because you don't have to only get them via email, okay? So first of all, you need to go up to the top right-hand side on the website where the bell is for your notifications. And then if you click the cog, it's like a cog or a wheel icon for notifications preferences, then you've got forum and you can decide how you want forum posts to come to you. So web means that they will appear when you log into Moodle. You'll see the number of notifications in the bell icon. Email is what many people use. They'll just come to your email. But if you connect Moodle.org to your mobile using the mobile app, then you can be notified on your mobile as well. Okay. And where it says forum digests, I'm going to explain that next. Because also, there's even more ways of fine-tuning your forum preferences. So if while you're up at the top here doing your notifications, if you click the arrow by your profile icon, and then you click forum preferences, here you can define some other ways that you want to access and be notified about forum posts. So here we have email digest type. Basically, that means, do you want an email or a notification every single time a forum that you're interested in, there's a discussion or a reply to it? I do, because I just love getting emails. But if it's too much for you, you can click the arrow and just have a daily digest, okay, of all of them that have happened that day. Another thing that is the default is this, you might want to change it, which is that if you reply to a forum post, or if you post, you will automatically be subscribed to that discussion, so you don't need to subscribe yourself. If you don't want that, again, you just click the arrow and you can turn that off. Now, in terms of tracking what's happening in the forum, so forum tracking, again, I would suggest keeping all of the defaults, really. That's the best if you're a beginner. Highlight new posts for me. You'll see new posts in the list. You'll see them with a kind of orange line. But here, if we follow our new user, Josephine, when she accesses Moodle in English, you see she can track because it says all the number of posts that she hasn't yet read. She's new, so there's lots that she hasn't read. You know, I'd like to think that she would read quite a few of these. She's obviously going to have some interesting reading for her there. Okay. Now, when you're reading the posts, another thing that we'd love you to do in order to get involved is to rate posts as useful. So if there's something that you've read, maybe it's a discussion or maybe it's a solution to a problem that helped you personally, then you see I've just cut this screenshot off at the top just to show you not the forum post, but where the ratings are. And you click the drop down and you can rate useful a particular post. And this post here, 3 people have rated it as useful already. And that's not only nice for the person, because then they know that they've been helpful and that gives them a good feeling, and it could be you one day, but also it helps towards them becoming what we call a particularly helpful Moodler. And this is a badge and a group of regular Moodle users who have been rated useful over a period of time. And again, perhaps you might become one of those. And that's also very good for your CV. Now, if we look here, this is a post by Matt, a discussion post. And if you look over on the right here, these are not badges. We do have badges on Moodle.org, and you can get a particularly helpful Moodler badge, which you can then share in the community on social media. But what Matt has here is a particularly helpful group icon. So we put you into various groups, or you get put into groups. So if you're a particularly helpful Moodler, you'll be put into the particularly helpful Moodler group. And you'll get an icon. That means that if you see it on the forums, you know that that person is a helpful Moodler. He happens to also have an icon saying that he's a developer. And there are quite a few group icons, and it's worth being aware of them. So if we just go to an incredibly helpful long-term Moodler, Helen, you'll see here that Helen has, I think, every single possible group icon that you can have here. And I'm not going to explain all of them, but it does give me a reason to tell you that at the end of this webinar, we have the course opening, the course where this webinar lives, and it explains to you what all of these group icons means, as well as going through again what we're discussing in this webinar. So yes, Helen's got a particularly helpful group membership. She's also got development membership. This skyscraper icon is very important because that is the group of people who belong to Moodle HQ. So if you see someone with the Moodle HQ skyscraper icon there, then they're speaking in their role as an HQ member. Now, another thing that you might notice in this screenshot from Helen's is that it says report to moderator. Now, everyone, when they post in forums, or when you go to the forum and you read a post, you will see this report to moderator link along with other options. Why should you report this post to the moderator, or why should you report any post to the moderator? And what does that actually mean? Okay, let's take a look at that next as part of your getting involved in the Moodle.org community forums. So you would report a post to the moderator by clicking the button if it was obvious spam, or if it was spam that you thought might be spam. In other words, if it's obvious advertising or someone who's come in and posted a lot of bad links, you'd press report to moderator. If someone has been rude or unpleasant or insulted someone, what in some areas they call flaming, inappropriate comments, press report to moderator. If someone has accidentally or even on purpose duplicated their post, I know I've done it sometimes. If I write something, then I press to send my post, and I'm so impatient, I think it hasn't sent, so I press it again. Well, we don't want duplicate posts, so you can report it to the moderator, who'll remove one. On the other hand, we might have a long discussion that is very interesting, but it has gone away from the original topic. And if you report that, then a moderator can split the discussion into 2 to make 2 more useful and shorter discussions. We can't merge discussions. We can't put 2 discussions together. That's why we can't have duplicate posts, but we can split discussions. And again, you can report anything that you are concerned about, that you think a moderator might want to know. But I do have to make it absolutely clear that when we say report to moderator, and this is in all of the languages for courses, not just in Moodle in English, it doesn't go to the person whose name is in that particular forum. It doesn't go to the forum moderator in each of the different discussion forums. It goes straight to a site administrator. So if you wanted to have a discussion with the named moderator of a specific forum, this wouldn't get there, and it's not for discussions. What happens when you press report to moderator? This is what you would see, and it asks you, why are you reporting it? So you can click spam, duplicate post, or other, and then if you press other, and I should have pressed other, then you can give the information as to why you're reporting it, okay? And it goes straight to the administrator who has the privileges to remove spam or suspend people. Okay, so there's more. We now kind of know our way around. We know how to behave helpfully by rating posts as useful, by reporting to the moderator. So how about if we ask some questions now? Where would we ask? I'm going to focus on Moodle in English, because if your first language is a different language, then you have your own community in that language, which might be set out in a different way. In Moodle in English, choose the forum that you feel is most appropriate for your particular topic, okay? If you're not sure, post in the general help forum and we will move it for you to a more suitable forum. That's absolutely fine. Don't post in two different forums in Moodle in English, because that's duplicating a post, and it then duplicates any answers you might get, and it causes confusion. And of course, as I said, we can't join discussions together. We can only split them. However, if, say, for example, you are a French-speaking francophone, you can ask in the Moodle in French course, and you can ask the same question in Moodle in English, because those are two different audiences and courses, communities, so that's okay. That is not duplicating. Maybe you just want to talk about something ed tech, then you can go and post in the lounge in Moodle in English. If you have a question relating to one of the sites that is in the top navigation bar of Moodle.org, so for example, demo, documentation, and so on, then we have a special forum themed Moodle community sites. If you've got a general question about Moodle development, we have a general developer forum. And if you're a teacher and you're interested in how to use Moodle for teaching, or you want to ask pedagogical questions, we have the Teaching with Moodle forum that you can post in there. Now, how to ask questions, looking on the positive here, how to ask questions to get people to answer you, basically. Well, the first thing that we would suggest is don't immediately ask. Search the forums. It may well be that your question has been asked before several times and it's already been answered, so you didn't need to make an effort. So do search the forums. Another thing that you can do is you can go to one of our free Moodle demo sites and to see if your problem is there. And if it isn't, then that means that the problem is only in your installation of Moodle. By all means, of course, you can still ask your question and we will help you, but it makes it easier to understand if it's for all of the Moodle sites everywhere or just your particular Moodle site. And you can find our Moodle demo sites from the top navigation bar if you click demo. Then when you give a title to your post, give some information in the title, because we have a lot of volunteers who read the forum posts and help in their free time, and so they would like to scroll down and see if there's anything they might be able to assist with. So it's useful if they can see from your title what your post is about. And again, with your details, give whenever you can, if you know them, what version of Moodle are you using, what role is it about. And if it helps, then you could add a screenshot of what the problem is. but make sure you blur out or erase any sensitive information about student data or anything that relates to your site. And then try to be concise. Only ask your question. Don't ask what what the weather's like in your town or the time of day and so on. Just be concise. Here's an example of a good question. And the reason it's good, or several reasons, for example, the title is very clear what the problem is. And then in the post itself, he specifies the upgrade. He explains the error, or she, I don't know, because they didn't leave a signature here. But and also they say what they think the problem might be. So they've already thought about it. And nothing else, okay? And just polite thanks in advance. So that's an example of a good question. Let's look at the opposite side then, what not to do. Kind of the opposite, basically. So don't give a vague emotional title such as help or express urgency such as urgent. Apart from the fact that it annoys other people, if I see something that says urgent help now, then I don't want to help. But equally, as I said, if people are busy, then they want to scroll down quickly and be able to see the topic of your problem, your query, and that does not help them because it doesn't tell them what it's about. Again, don't make assumptions that people know what version of Moodle you're using or what theme or whatever. Give them the details. But equally, don't use acronyms, abbreviations, or slang that non-native speakers won't understand. Moodle in English, the language is English, but the community is multilingual from around the world. And so you may be helped by someone whose first language is not English, and they might not know your slang or your abbreviation. I don't know many of them, even though my language is English. And also, this does actually happen sometimes. If your error gives you a blank page, don't post a screenshot of a blank page because it doesn't actually help. Just you can tell us, but there's no point sharing a screenshot with nothing on it. Something else that's worth knowing is don't add a signature to your post. Don't add any details about your job, your role, because it's not necessary for your problem and it uses up space. And actually, if you want to tell us about yourself, then use your profile. In your profile, you're very welcome to write what your job is, what your role is, what your experience is. And because profiles are public, as Helen said, people can click on your name and then see information about you. So there's no need to write it there. Also, again, don't write down everything that's going through your mind. Just try to focus on the problem. If you are in a company that has a job that wants a Moodle job or that needs someone to help them with the Moodle site, the forums are not the place for posting a job advert. We have a dedicated area, moodle.org/jobs, where you can go and post your job advert. If you do, or if anybody does post a job advert, we will politely let them know that we're going to delete the post and ask them to post in moodle.org/jobs. The reason is because if you post in the forums, you will get lots of messages. You'll be basically spammed by people offering to do work for you who you probably don't want or need. And it's better to have it more formally set out. Okay, so this is an example of a poor question. And I'm just going to take a breather and a sip of water, and I'm going to ask you, could you type in the chat, tell me why is this a poor question? What things here have I talked about that you shouldn't do? And perhaps, Helen, you could read people's responses and tell me what they're saying.
I think everyone's just thinking now. I didn't expect to work.
Oh, we're keeping you awake here. Yeah, it's fine.
Mary's saying the person used the words urgent, help.
Yeah, that's right. Help, urgent, both of them. That will make particularly helpful Moodlers a little bit annoyed, and it doesn't tell us what the problem is about.
And Luigi says the subject is not clear enough. It's just saying help urgent.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he says also there's no hello or thanks.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. There's no need. You can certainly be polite with a hello and thanks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Paul says there's no description of an actual problem, what steps they took during it, nor any information that would help someone to diagnose or help them.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. So it's not really a particularly useful question, even though it's very urgent. Okay, well, there is one other thing that I'll mention before we move on, unless anyone else has got any other suggestions. No?
Oh, there's one more from Mary
Oh,
saying
excellent.
they added a signature, which you shouldn't have.
That's the one that I was going to say, yes. Not only a signature, but Sam Short is trying to promote their business, the name of their business, and also added a logo or an image. It's just not necessary and it uses up space. Well done, everyone. So we've looked at how to ask questions. Maybe you're at the stage where you could actually answer some questions. And a lot of it is the same, so I'm not going to say too much. But yeah, as we've already understood, be kind and welcoming. You might be the person, you might be the first person that a shy new Moodler has ever come into contact with on Moodle.org. They might have spent a long time thinking about whether or not to post their question because they don't know what reaction they'll get. So what you say to them for the first time will have a big effect. Now, it's absolutely fine to ask them simple questions for clarification, especially if it is their first time and they're not used to it. And again, by all means, if it helps, ask them for screenshots, but remind them to blur out sensitive details. And again, if they hadn't realised it, then you could suggest that they try to replicate the problem on one of our Moodle demo sites. That will help you know whether it's a Moodle problem throughout all the Moodle sites or just on theirs. And we'll look at this later. You could, if you know about the Moodle documentation, or if you know about the Moodle tracker, if you're used to that as well, you could link to documentation pages or tracker issues that might be relevant. So that's the do. What about the don't? Don't reprimand a poster for not knowing the code of conduct. We have a Moodle.org, we have a code of conduct. It explains how to behave in the forums. Everything in this webinar is talking about the code of conduct. And when you do the course at the end of this webinar and you pass it and you get your badge, you will be going through the code of conduct. And although people who join the forums are supposed to read the code of conduct, not everyone does, or they might not have memorized it. So don't reprimand them if, for example, they didn't search first of all, or they didn't try something in the Moodle demo sites. And again, as when you're asking, don't use abbreviations or slang or cultural references. Even if you're in a course in your own native language, my native language is British and I do not understand American slang or American cultural references. So remember, this is a global multilingual community. Give your answer, but keep it to the point, concise. There is no need to tell us your life story. And I've put here, don't advertise your product if it's irrelevant to the answer. So basically, what that means is if someone posts a query saying, I am looking for a plugin, that can do such and such. And if you have that plugin as that you've created it either for free in the Moodle plugins directory, or you're selling it, it is okay to respond with that because that's in the context of the answer. But you should never just advertise things out of context or with no reason. What you should do is put things like that in your profile. Now, some people like to use artificial intelligence to help them with the answers. Don't just paste verbatim, that means word for word, without thinking, from ChatGPT's answer that they've given you into the Moodle forum. Because for many people, we can clearly see what it is, that it's artificial intelligence, AI. Did you even check? Because AI can get things wrong. And also, quite amusingly, I did once see someone who pasted straight out of ChatGPT into Moodle.org, and their reply began, "Sure, I can help you answer this question, and I can translate it into English for you from the language they were writing in, which I won't reveal." So don't do that. However, and this is very important, you can, of course, use AI to help you formulate your question or formulate your reply if you use it sensibly. We all now have to live with AI, and we all use AI. I certainly do in certain areas. So it can be your assistant. But if you do that and make sure you've checked the answer is correct, then you must add a note to your post saying, AI used to help write this post. You can't pretend that ChatGPT's answer is yours. And in the spirit of that, I need to tell you that the bad forum post and the good forum post examples that I gave you were given to me by ChatGPT. So thank you, AI and ChatGPT, who helped me write those two posts. Now, I also mentioned that another way you can help in your answers is by linking to documentation or tracker issues. And you really don't have to go to the documentation or the tracker and copy and paste the whole URL. It's not accessible even if you do that. The user documentation, we try to make the pages as user-friendly as we can so that you can think of a page and it's probably likely to be that. So if you want to direct someone to the assignment documentation, then you type assignment with double square brackets around it. If you want to send them to the forum documentation, type forum with double square brackets, and Moodle Magic, it's actually a filter, will automatically link to that documentation. Now, there's more to learn about linking to documentation, so I do again advise you to try our course on that is attached to this webinar. It explains more about documentation links. Similarly, with the tracker, you just type the issue number. You don't need to copy and paste the whole thing, and Moodle will make that link for you. Okay, so hopefully you've got a lot out of how to make the most of the forums as a regular Moodler. We're going to finish off now by giving you a brief behind the scenes look at what Helen and I and others, how we maintain the forums, how we look after the forums. And so I'm talking about the words moderators and facilitators and who does what on Moodle.org. Now, the term moderator and the term facilitator in the general world of online facilitating and moderating, they do have more specific meanings. And if you're interested in the general words for these, the general meanings, then why not take our Facilitating Moodle Forums course, which is also linked to in this course, which discusses in general how you can be a facilitator and a moderator on any Moodle forum, not Moodle.org, where we're focusing on today, but in any Moodle. It gives you some tips for that. On Moodle.org, we use the words in a specific way. So for us, a moderator has the editing teacher role within a forum. So not the whole course, but within one forum, allowing them to edit or delete posts, move posts, split posts, so divide them into two, and send private replies. Now that's in Moodle in English, for example, but in the courses in other languages, we have facilitators. And a facilitator can do everything the moderator can do, but they do it for the course as a whole because they have the editing teacher role in the whole course, not just in one particular forum. So yes, they can edit, delete posts, move and split posts, send private replies, but because they're in charge of a whole language course, they can also change the layout, add extra activities. They might want a glossary, for example, and they can look after their own language course as they wish. So let's just briefly take a look at some of these things. So we mentioned editing and deleting posts. Deleting is pretty obvious. Editing, why would you want to edit a post as a moderator? Well, here's an example. You can see me actually inside somebody else's post that was about testing the upgrade. And they added some information about their own site, which would have made it quite insecure. Perhaps a login, an admin login or something. So I went in and I removed it. And when I removed the information, while I'm still editing the post, Moodle automatically adds a sentence saying who edited it and when the submission was. And when I save it, you'll see that. But what I wanted to do as well was to just for the benefit of the original poster and also anyone who might be reading it, I actually added the reason why I edited it. So when I save my post and it becomes public on Moodle.org, you can see that it says, edited by Mary Cooch to remove posters' personal details, etc. So that's one thing that our moderators and facilitators might do. Another thing is moving posts. You remember that I said if you're really not sure where to post, post in the general help forum. This person has posted about Boost Union, and if I wanted to move it to a different forum, then you, as a moderator, you have a section where my number 1 is move this discussion to, and you can choose a forum, and then when you press move, it will go to that forum. Equally, as we also said, sometimes discussions get very, very long. They're still interesting and useful, but they've gone off the original topic. And so as a moderator or facilitator, when you access the post where it starts to go off topic, you can see split. We don't often split posts discussions because you can only do it once. And if you do it in the wrong place, you can't put it back together again. But you do have, as a moderator or facilitator, the option to split a discussion. And then you will rename the new discussion. And I usually put in brackets afterwards, split from, with the name of the original discussion. And then when you click split, my number 3 here, you've made 2 discussions out of 1. And finally, I mentioned private replies. So again, moderators and facilitators, they can reply privately to posters by clicking the reply. So you click reply, and then you have the option to tick reply privately. So I would do this, for example, if someone posted a job advert, I would send a private reply to them saying, just letting you know that it's best to post your job advert on moodle.org/jobs, and I'm going to remove your post in the forums. So click reply, tick the reply privately, and then I would post my reply. Then when I click post to forum, the person who I've replied to will see the post, but nobody else will see it. It will be hidden to everybody else. But other moderators or site admins will see a little message saying, this is a private reply. Teachers and other users with the capability to view private replies can also see it. So they know that I replied privately. That's it for our behind the scenes look. I think we've covered why get involved, how to get started, how to make the most of the forums and behind the scenes. So I'm basically now just going to move on to any questions and come back to you, Helen.
Thanks, Mary. Just got a couple of comments in the chat in response to your slide about answering people helpfully. And Georges says, would this be helpful? Saying, hi, Sam, thanks for your message. To help you better, could you please answer these? And then some bullet points. What exact version did you upgrade to? 4.4 or 4.5? Which plugins did you activate before the issue? Did you try accessing the site with debugging enabled? And what server environment are you using? Once we have that info, we can suggest next steps. Greetings, Georges.
What do you think, Helen?
Very good. Yeah, very nice and helpful.
I like the bullet points as well because that's concise. Yes,
good
indeed.
plan.
Yes, that's nice.
Then Luigi mentions in French, there's a very big French community. He says that we've got a template that they use for answering questions.
They do indeed. As I said,
cool.
I think I said to you before, Helen, they're very well organised in the French, Moodle en français, in the French course, yes. Okay. We'd like to encourage anyone who hasn't already joined the forums, we'd like to encourage you to come and join, even if you just look and read and rate posts useful. That's something that you can easily do that people will benefit from. John, hello, John. I've learned so much over the years from reading through the Moodle forums daily digests. Yes, that's the thing that we didn't really mention, did we? The fact that we both have learned so much from reading the Moodle forums, asking and answering questions. And it's part of Moodle's social constructionist philosophy, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If there aren't any more comments, feel free to comment. But if there aren't any more, I just have a couple more slides to show you, and then we'll finish. So thank you for joining us today, and we would love you to help us grow Moodle Academy by contributing to its development. We've got a course it's linked to on the front page of Moodle Academy called Get Involved, where we want you to suggest topics to be covered in future webinars and courses. And a few of our webinars and courses have come from that Get Involved. Maybe you would like to volunteer yourself to present a webinar or help co-create a course on Moodle Academy. And very close to my heart, if your first language is not English, but you are fluent in English and you are happy to translate our Moodle Academy courses, then we've got a course which is named, believe it or not, Translate Moodle Academy. And if you do that course, you will then become an official Moodle Academy translator. You'll get the badge and you can translate the courses, including this one, How to Get Involved in the Moodle.org community forums. You could translate the course into your language and help make Moodle Academy more inclusive. And please tell your friends and colleagues about Moodle Academy. The courses you complete, you get a badge. We've also started awarding certificates of attendance to those who attend the live webinars. Tell people about Moodle Academy. And if you are a very experienced educator or an experienced administrator, we have 2 quizzes on Moodle Academy. You can access them see them from the front page to find out if you would be ready to take the coveted Moodle Educator qualification or Moodle Administrator qualification. So do take a look at those if they apply to you. And so if that's it, yes, I'm going to say thank you very much. Thank you very much from me, Mary Cooch.
And from me, Helen Foster.
Goodbye.